Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to a very special episode of my Outer Wilds Roleplay series, Ammon's Adventure. Today I am going behind the scenes on some key scenes from one of my earlier episodes. I recently just switched from a 2-day-a-week release schedule for the main roleplay series to once a week, just to try to make it a little bit more manageable and keep up the quality that I've been striving for with the videos. So instead of releasing Monday and Friday, I'm just planning to release every Friday now. But I still wanted to do something on those Mondays, and I thought about some behind-the-scenes videos that could be interesting for people that want a little bit more context or just are interested in how I'm making these videos. Not that there's anything super elaborate going into them, but just kind of, breaking down my thought process and maybe, my creative process and some key scenes and things like that. And this is probably the most creative episode I've done so far, I think. It's possibly the most cinematic, kind of a key turning point in Ammon's thought process a little bit that really gets kicked off in episode 3 with their monologue about, they used to be brave, and then Iggy's death really hit them and kind of changed their perspective on things. And then this episode, which is episode 4, opens up with them talking to Iggy at their grave, and realizing that they need to go to Giant's Deep, which is the location where Iggy met their demise in a vague ship crash. So there's a lot of build up, a little bit of foreshadowing going on here, a little bit of drama with the music. And it just creates kind of some tension, kind of some anticipation for what might happen in this episode. And there's a lot going into my thought process here. It's kind of continuing a pretty logical progression of where Ammon's going. And I gotta say up front, well, two things really. If you don't want to spoil the magic of Ammon's adventure, you definitely don't need to watch these. If you just want to watch the finished product and not know any of the details that go into it, totally fine. I'm not going to spoil future episodes, but by all means, if you're not interested in this kind of thing, then no worries. But the other thing I wanted to mention is I am not planning this out from start to finish. I don't have, several dozen videos planned right now of what route Ammon's going to take. I would say I'm typically like a video ahead, like kind of one video out in my mind of where Ammon might go, and if things change or things happen and unfold in that episode that I am recording that day, then I can adapt and adjust that plan accordingly. Perfect example of that, I think, going into episode 2, where I came very close to meeting Rybeck, and then the sun exploded, and had that kind of dramatic scream for Rybeck. Haven't been back there since, but I think it was perfectly logical for Ammon to go from Brittle Hollow to Ember Twin to talk to Chert, and then now following that same progression with the statues to Gabbro on Giant's Deep. So we know Brittle Hollow is inevitable, and the logical progression of knowledge that Ammon's going to get will lead them to Brittle Hollow and Rybeck, pretty soon in the future. But here, they're following their intuition from one place to the next, and it's actually been a kind of a nice gradual introduction of each traveler. We've heard Rybeck's voice, and we've met Chert, we've met Esker, and in this video we meet Gabbro. And we're kind of getting, a good mix of different locations, and it feels very good to me from a presentation standpoint. And, kind of doing some light lore building with Iggy and Ammon's relationship to them, and how that's going to affect Ammon's behavior and what happens in this series, and just adding, you know, other details that, you know, are obviously not a key part of this game because it's all, you know, made up in this case, but the game still allows, like, the game's making it very easy for me to create this little pocket of lore for myself, and you know, trying to adapt Ammon's mindset and their behaviors and their thought process and their emotions to that lore, and all that stuff has been a lot of fun. All that being said, the main thing I wanted to focus on, I know I'm talking over the beginning of this video here, the main thing I wanted to focus on in this behind the scenes clip was that ending sequence. So I'm going to skip ahead here in a second, turn the volume on, and just let it play out, and then I'll break it down. Because some of you may have been astute and been wondering about that death scene. Wondering a couple things, really. So let me just skip ahead, and then I'll kind of break it down. Break down a couple key points. So I'm just going to shut up and let that play out again.
Is this it? It's worth a shot. Get some more fuel. It's hard to walk on this planet. Gravity is so much stronger than ours. This could be promising. Okay. Here we go. It's not so bad. Try again. Oh, no. What is down there? It's okay. I'm up. What is that? Oh no. I need to get back to my ship. Oh no, I can't. I'm out of control. I need to get... Oh no. I'm too low. I can't get out.
Okay, so couple things here. Just going into the mental calculations of arriving on this statue workshop island. Let me mute again. Hopefully the sound came through. If not, I will link the video in this video so you can watch it. Couple things going through my mind here. I knew in my head it had been a pretty long episode so far, knowing I didn't have a ton of time to probably get into the statue workshop and do much reading. So I made a very snap decision here that I was gonna fall into the water. I did not make it look very natural. I acknowledge that. That was all I knew. I was gonna fall into the water and look down, and then hope that the supernova was gonna hit soon. And that would be kind of a nice moment of, oh, what is down there? This cyclone completely caught me off guard. I had no knowledge that it was coming. You didn't see me look backwards as I, landed my ship. No idea that was going to happen. I'm not going to turn, a random encounter. I'm not going to turn my head away from a random encounter and say, no, that's not going to work. The interloper passing by was just a perfect moment of distraction for Ammon as well. And, they scooted under the island. They were trying to get back to the ship. The interloper distracted them. They got too low. Island crushed them. Fade to black. So none of that scene was planned whatsoever. And it was a very snap decision, kind of one after the other. Again, all I knew going in is I'm running out of time. Let me try to do something interesting. Let me jump in, like, you know, fall into the water, see what happens there, and then, you know, the sun's probably going to explode relatively soon. Even though the music hadn't started yet. If nothing else, my thought process was I'll fall into the water, I'll get a look at the core, which is going to catch them off guard. I'll swim back, get back up on the island, and then see how much time I have left. But, a couple things. Obviously, that is not the death animation for when you get crushed to death in this game. I did an immediate cut to black as soon as it made contact. And again, you know, you can see me drifting the jetpack underneath the island. Try to make it subtle. I think it works in the moment. You know. But again, that is not the death sequence or the sound effect when you get crushed to death. By, like, in your spacesuit by, you know, if you crash into something in your spacesuit. So let me peel the onion back a little bit further and play the raw clip. Let me skip ahead here if I can. This is a very raw video, so I apologize if this seems kind of scattershot. It's casual. I'm just kind of giving a look behind the scenes. Here's exactly what actually happened. Underneath, I'm like, this is gonna kill me 1000%. Ammon's about to die right here. 100% just gonna die. All it does is scoot me to the side, which is crazy to me. I mean, it like pins me in the water and just kind of scoots me sideways, and I'm totally fine. So in this moment, I'm standing here thinking, basically weighing my options of, do I cut there? Because there's a lot of things happening in my mind here. We have that monologue up top with him, or with Ammon talking to Iggy's grave. There's a lot of fear about going back to Giant's Deep, or going to Giant's Deep for the first time, knowing that Iggy died there, knowing there's a lot of danger there. It was too perfect to not. It was too perfect of an ending to this episode to not make them die there. I had to make that work. So I kind of made that decision and I cut that clip there. You can see right at the end, I kind of just stopped the video. And I was like, I need to do that. I need Ammon to die when that island lands on them. So the fade to black, not an issue. The immediate cut to black, totally fine. I didn't have a sound effect to use. There's no sound effect in this original clip of them getting crushed because it never happened. I just got pushed to the side. So I had to make a third video to get a sound effect. And my thought process with that, I think it's going to jump right into it. I was like, I'm going to go to the top of the launch tower in my space chute, fly as high as I can, jump off. Let me get some audio going for this one, hopefully. Hopefully this audio is coming through. So I was like, I'm going to go to the top of the launch tower. I'm going to get in my space chute, fly up, crash down, and use just the sound bite of this video. I'm like, that's pretty high. This is going to hurt really bad. Again, disappointment. Almost kills me. Doesn't kill me. I'm looking for that sound effect. That's all I want. So I'm like, I'll go back up to the tower. I'll do it again. But since I flew off the tower, the elevator was still up there. Another snap decision. I'm going to get under the elevator. And there's your sound effect. Not sure how many people have gotten crushed by the elevator. I'm sure, I mean, it's not a super rare thing. But it is, I think it's a unique sound effect. I could be wrong there. I'm not an Outer Wilds historian. I don't know every detail perfectly. I don't know if that's the same sound effect that you get if you get crushed to death in certain other areas. But I don't think it's not the same sound effect as when you just crash into something. Like even this. That's what I would have expected to hear if it had killed me. It's basically that sound effect with the additional sound of you like blacking out is the sound effect that I was expecting to hear when the island crashed into me. This I think is unique. Maybe not just to this elevator, but maybe there's a couple other scenes where that sound effect is played. So yeah, that is kind of the anatomy of a scene, if you will, from probably my most cinematic sequence to date. I don't know. The scene in episode 6 rivals it pretty well, which I'll have another behind the scenes video for that soon as well. Yeah, I mean, another key feature in my process of making these videos, which may be apparent just in how it's cut, I do all the voiceovers after the fact. I mean, with the dialogue between the characters, it's basically impossible for me to do any of that real time. You can also tell I struggle to talk half the time, so me trying to improv or even read a script while playing is just impossible. So all of the voices are done after the fact, which is a challenge with some of the gameplay footage, because I have to generally know how long I want to spend talking to somebody to capture the right amount of gameplay footage. You'll see me cutting and editing, like fading to black after, at the end of a conversation. So that's might be where maybe I recorded some extra footage just to make sure I didn't walk away before my, voiceover said all I wanted to say. And if you're very astute, you may catch certain sequences where the footage is actually slowed down just a hair, because I didn't want to, while I'm talking to the travelers, because I had more that I wanted to say and I didn't record enough footage of me standing in front of them. So that's a case where kind of the opposite happened. I had more voiceover than I had footage. And kind of just while I'm talking, one more other key element of all of this with talking to the travelers specifically is, let me go back to episode 4. It's very apparent with talking to Esker. I know this is going to be Gabbro, but I kind of made the decision early on that I didn't want to actually talk to the travelers and have the dialogue pop up, because I'm trying to build immersion and I have my own dialogue and all that. So when I'm talking to the travelers, they're not stopping their instruments. When you actually talk to them in the game, it kind of pauses a little bit. I mean, at least if you have freeze time on, maybe they do keep playing while they're talking, but for Chert and Rybeck, not too much of an issue. But when Gabbro is using a mouth instrument and Esker is literally whistling while they're saying words to me, that doesn't really work as well. That's why, with Esker, I put in the the music over top of that conversation, and with Gabbro, I kind of lower the volume just a little bit, so it doesn't feel as weird with them talking while they're literally using their mouths. That was just another, little challenge I didn't foresee when starting this was, oh yeah, Esker's just going to be whistling while he's talking to me this entire time. How's that going to work? So little nuggets like that. But yeah, hopefully this was interesting. Hopefully this was, hopefully this didn't spoil the magic or ruin anything. But I think some people might find it interesting to just learn a little bit more about me and my process with making these, and hopefully still, enjoy the final output as well. So yeah, hope that was enjoyable. Stick around Friday for the next episode of Ammon's Adventure, and stick around next Monday for another behind-the-scenes look at a recent episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you later.